What's going on, guys? Here I am back again with another video. So I talked briefly about doing Axis build and how I've been kind of focused on that. So I thought I'd kind of finally bring in my thoughts on the Axis build um, and what I plan on doing next. So, so basically, I did like Axis originally when it first came out and moved to Allies and played a couple of other doctrines, but mostly Axis and then Allies and then back to Axis, mostly because of how you can just really play uh, not very active. So I recommend Axis build for anybody who's not really willing to get on like every 2 hours. So, which really sucks if you're sleeping. So any other build, any other doctrine, you're essentially gonna go. I feel well. Let's just not say any other doctrine. Let's say Axis is probably the best build to go as far as I don't have to be very active, right? So my build is going to be focused on medium tanks, of course. Uh, so that's just basically how it's going to go. Um, Reasonably light air. So this is day 15, number 2 on the standings, and this is essentially all the air I have. It definitely needs to be upgraded. Definitely needs to be sent back to get that heal on. Let's put it right there. Matter of fact, we don't even need it that close. Yeah, just get it to right there. Let it get its heal on. 4 hours and 35 minutes. Okay, cool. It's gonna make it before reset. Whew. Glad I remember that. So, to get that going too. So, basically, typical planes. You're gonna run, pretty much everything: strategic bombers, naval bombers, attack bombers, interceptors. Um, the whole point is just to be kind of like versatile in the air, to be able to do whatever you want. But your main stuff is going to be rolling in with medium tanks. These are level 4s. I think that level 4 is probably the stopping point. You could probably be okay with running level 3s. I'm going to go with level 4s. Maybe that be the stopping point. Really depends on how far the game goes in. Maybe I would attempt to go to level 5. But anyway, so I also do high level 3, or level 4 anti-air. Level 3 has done very well, very sufficient at 10. If you ran less, I would probably go with like a higher level. But I do like the level 3. I don't see why you'd go any further if you're going to run 10. So, really like the SP anti-air in it. So the thing with so basically the whole build is run in and smash, right? You got the 10 medium tanks, they run and smash and run over everything. But at the same time, you want to be faster than everybody else. Like, you're not going to be using artillery. You're not going to be using your Air Force. Essentially, you will use your Air Force, when it comes time that you feel like maybe, an Air Force really, in this build, an Air Force kind of comes in and saves the day when you mess up. So, which I have had messed up. I actually ran into some tank destroyers, and I wasn't paying attention to that it was a forest area, and it really messed my tanks up. I wound up winning and everything because of my Air Force, but um, like here's part of the anti-air that was just decimated. Where's the tanks? I think this is part of them. Yeah. So the tanks, like, there was like 6 of them, 7 of them, something like that. I merged them into that, and they were just decimated. Almost, they weren't destroyed obviously because they're damaged, but those tank destroyers really put a whooping on them, and I couldn't figure out why. And I just wasn't paying attention that they get a 50% boost in the forest areas, and I just really wasn't paying attention to that. So that really caught me, and they almost wiped them out. But fortunately, they were using their Air Force, and I was using my Air Force to wipe their stuff out. They had their Air Force engaged as well, and I guess they just weren't paying attention to the 5 high-level SS anti-air that was a lot better health at that time, sitting underneath it, destroying the plane. So meanwhile, I also took another stack and moved it closer, adding more, another 5 additional SS anti-air to the equation, doing, basically the max damage 10 SS anti or SP anti-air. So it wound up doing the maximum amount of damage, being a 10 stack and all. So wound up wiping out all their Air Force, and wound up getting those troops evacuated, getting them back to the home area so they can heal, which I don't know if they'll heal enough to be useful, maybe later in the future. But definitely getting off track here. So basically just run in with a 10 stack of medium tanks. Slowly behind it will be a 10 stack of SP anti-air, and when I say behind it, I mean very close behind it, so that way whenever your 10 stack hits, it attacks the stack that it hits, and then it gets a really good punch and does this damage, right? And then the SP anti-air, if you need be, it can get involved, or it doesn't get involved, and it can just sit back there and protect your medium tanks from air, which is what it's supposed to do and it's what it's intended for. Or you could say, let's say it's very weak in stack, it's got like I don't know, 2 infantry left or whatever, and they're very weak. Sure, smash that anti-air into it, kill them, right? But other than that way you can keep on moving. You don't I normally don't. I do keep them together in some instances, like these are together. But typically I will break them apart and let them run like that. And if you look at the speed, the level 4, the speed gets pretty. Maybe it's level 3 that I'm talking about. Yeah, level 3 has like 72, 74. This has got 70 on the planes, and then you look at this. Oh, come on. This has got 81, so a bit faster. But if you have like level 3 tanks, they're a bit slower. But if I went ahead and went a little bit higher on the SP anti-air, it would get about the same speed. But every now and again, I'll have to slow it down. I didn't realize how fast it's not really that much faster. I figure, like, in this game, they don't really have, the only one who had good attacking planes as far as ground support planes was this guy here, and they're pretty much all dead, or they're all dead. So his planes were all killed last night. So I really don't have to worry about that. If they mess with me, they mess with me. It is what it is. So sorry for the long video, but I just really wanted to cover axes in general. Another thing about axes that you can do that you really typically can't do is when you go to sleep, you don't really for me, it's been one of the biggest mistakes to learn from is to be doing attacking while you're asleep, because you can't come in and take care of things, right? But with axes, I won't say you can't go wrong, but you're smashing into everything anyway. So typically I'll just keep going, let it keep going, or give it an assignment, give it like an area to, kill, like this area here or whatever, and have it swoop back into a position to where I can attack again the next day. Usually something a little bit safer, but today I know that I have crushed their defenses, and they have nothing left essentially, so I really don't care at this point. But I feel like I've added some motorized infantry into the mix because I'm playing against Comintern. not here, not in Bruges or here, but up here is Comintern. Like all these enemies up here, these will be enemies. These are all enemies that just haven't declared war. But like most of the people I'm fighting right now are Comintern. So I am bringing in motorized infantry to kind of help with the spam of food right now. So see what they do to help out. They're fast as well. But if you're facing like allies, I feel like you wouldn't need the motorized infantry because typically, if you're playing against the allied players, typically going to be armored units. So medium tanks would work best. But allies and switches I'm going to focus on. I think I'm going to focus on that next and come up with a new build for allies or a more appropriate build for me. I'm going to do that next and focus on that. And I'm only doing one game at a time, so I'm just really, really trying to test it and really get down to the details of stuff. So trying to just figure out what build I really like the most. Or just not really the most, just figuring out what builds it is. But but I feel like the Axis versus the Allies matchup, I feel like the Axis is going to be faster. So in the Axis, I really use them to be very, very fast in like that blitzkrieg method or lightning war, however you prefer, to just sneak around and go into the cores like I am this guy here, taking out his cores, and then at that point he's kind of useless once you take out their cores. And here's his buddy trying to come in and save the day. He's never gonna catch my stack. So I mean, have fun with that. I'll wipe out all these cores. Cool. I mean, you can have the biggest stack in the world, but I mean, you can break it up or lose everything. I don't care. But either way, so I'm using speed to my advantage, and I think like that would be the interesting thing against Axis versus Allies. Allies is not going to be as fast because they got that minus 10%. And I would say, well, they're going to be highly upgraded, but so is Axis. Typically, the medium tank should be really highly fast, super fast, as well as SB anti-air. So you're going to be super, super fast. And you're not going to have that speed penalty. So I think, Axis is going to be also, obviously naturally faster. I know that, like, the Pan Asia is going to get a speed boost and they're going to be faster, but they don't hit like the medium tanks do like that. Then the Axis will hit. They're not going to be typically strong land-wise because they're just not, their doctrine doesn't really call for strong. Anybody who's played, Pan Asia, you know that you have that disadvantage where they have like the hit points and some other things that cause the disadvantage for the land units. So your stuff, like they have like light tanks boost and stuff like that. That's just not going to really help you later on when they got, the Axis have the medium tanks and the Allies have the tank destroyers, and it's just like, I mean, what are you going to do with light tanks, right? I mean, you can use speed, but as far as land to land, I mean, they really rely on their air and naval. But I'm definitely going to try out move on to something else and try allies in the next game and just really tweak, whether I'm going to play like 5 tank destroyers, and I really want to max out their level, and then really play the planes for the allies, put them on the back burner, and just kind of, not kind of use them like I do in the allies or Axis, and just kind of, make sure I have them if I need them, but if I don't, I don't. And then, run like 5 tank destroyers, maybe like 5 SP anti-air, and then run like 5 SP artillery, maybe 10. Try to shoot for 10. You want to shoot for the max as possible, right? Maybe I'll run like a lower level. Maybe I'll run like level 3. I think that's what I go for, level 3. And then maybe like 5 SP anti-air, maybe more, maybe like 7. And then like move like 5 to 7 or 8 maybe tank destroyers, maybe just 5. I'm not sure if I want to go like medium and just run the 5 sets of everything, the tank destroyer, SP anti-air, or SP artillery, and SP artillery, and do like mech infantry. I'm definitely gonna do mech infantry with like one AC for view. But I think that's what I'm gonna go with. Yeah, most definitely. Question is, do I go with Navy? I didn't think about Navy. Do I go Navy or no Navy? Probably depend on where I go. Maybe I do like a land, a land inside or landlocked country, and then don't go naval, at least at first. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Maybe I'll pick like over here and pick like North India or something like that. North India is landlocked, so technically. So maybe I'll go North India and then expand out that way, and then just upgrade my Navy slowly but surely, and then like level 1, and then just start upgrading it all up at once, and have like a decent Navy. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Just do like a decent Navy, but strong, pretty strong. Upgraded, right? And then upgraded Air Force, but just decent, not like go crazy with it. And then focus with the stacks of artillery with the anti-air and all that good stuff. And not sure like I said, I'm not sure what the ratios are going to be, but try to focus on that because I don't want to be active. So I want to be like a non-active build. Like if I wanted to be active, I would just build like a massive Air Force, because that's typically what like allies, like if you want to do Air Force, like that's allies territory. Or like you could do Pan Asia, but like allies do the tactical bombers, get the boost for that and stuff like that. So they're typically the way to go, and easier to upgrade too. So they get all the discounts and everything, so they're typically the way to go on that area. So but wish me luck on the allies one, because it is super. I've played allies for a long time, and they're a really pain in the butt. They're not like Axis. I feel like Axis is fairly easy to do, but it is fun. So far I feel like Axis has been the funnest, until you run into freaking a bunch of tank destroyers, and then you just kind of it really sucks, especially in their enforced bonus. So but anyway, sorry that this one was so long, guys, but I just really wanted to get everything out, and tell you guys what I'm working on, and as far as the Axis build, and how it's going, and then tell you what I'm going to do next, which is the Allies build. If you made it to the end, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys who made it to the end and watched it to the end, and hope you guys found this video very interesting. If you did, like, and hey, tell me what your advice would be on what build and how I should tweak it. I'm willing to listen to whatever you guys think, as far as how you would go about doing this experiment, or maybe you already done it. Just let me know what you guys think is the best build for what I'm trying to do. So but anyway, thank you guys so much. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.